Welcome to Bed Crime Stories podcast. I'm your host, T. Hi guys, hope you're all doing well. I hope your holiday week is continuing and that you're still enjoying all the beauty of the season. If you're new here, let me extend a warm welcome to you. Thank you for checking out the channel. All I ask is that if you enjoy the video or you learn something from it, that you take the time to smash that like button. Now, without further ado, let's dig in. How does a well-educated, affluent family go on to commit the most extreme criminal act, murder for hire? 47-year-old Charlie Adelson was recently convicted of conspiring in the planned death of his sister Wendy's ex-husband, Danny Markell. And Charlie's mother, 73-year-old Donna Adelson, was just arrested as she tried to flee with her husband Harvey to Vietnam. Donna was charged for her alleged role in Dan Markell's death as well. Donna's charges, like Charlie's, include first-degree blank, I can't say the word on YouTube too often, conspiracy to commit blank, and solicitation to commit blank. The burning question is not why Charlie and Donna, and possibly Wendy and Harvey too, allegedly wanted Dan Markell dead. Rather, the burning question is, how could multiple people from one family think that this was an acceptable act? Let me say that Wendy and her father Harvey have not been charged with any crimes, at least not yet. So prosecutors either don't believe they participated in the crime or knew about it, or the cops don't have enough evidence yet to charge them. I'll say that personally, I find it hard to believe Charlie and Donna could be involved without Wendy and Harvey being aware of it. According to psychotherapist Siobhan Scott, someone in the Adelson family, likely the matriarch Donna, may have created a situation where she convinced the others to do things to benefit her. In this case, what Donna wanted was to have her daughter Wendy and Wendy's then young sons move from Tallahassee, Florida, to South Florida. The obstacle to this plan was Wendy's ex-husband, Danny Markell. His job as a law professor was in Tallahassee. He wasn't about to leave his job, nor was he willing to allow his sons to move full-time to South Florida. Note that the distance between Tallahassee, Florida and Miami is 480 miles, so it wasn't a doable commute, at least not a daily commute. Now, Donna Adelson is likely a hardcore narcissist. I'm not a psychotherapist, but this is what the experts are saying, although they are adding the caveat that they have not personally evaluated her. So without that, they can't be certain. If Donna Adelson is indeed a narcissist, you would do the following. 1. Always act in ways that benefit her in some way. 2. Be very self-focused. And 3, be very self-aggrandizing. Such a parent would also view her children, Charlie and Wendy in this case, as, quote, tools. The children's needs would be secondary to Donna's needs. According to Dr. Siobhan Scott, if Donna is a narcissist, her need for control and desire to have her adult children and her grandchildren close to her, this could have been the motive for the crime. And unfortunately for Charlie and Wendy and their sibling Robert, children who grow up with a narcissistic parent may face challenges. Dr. Scott explained that children of narcissists may not recognize the abnormality of their upbringing until much later in life. The family dynamic is all they've ever known, so it takes years and significant life experiences to understand the toxic nature of their familial relations. According to Scott, the narcissist can be vengeful and hold grudges, and they often perceive slights where there are none. And apparently this stuff can escalate to dangerous levels, even to the level of murder. Per Dr. Scott, adult children of narcissists often seek help trying to, quote, unravel the confusion surrounding their identity and feelings toward their parents. It's like a big ball of yarn that's all tangled up, end quote. As for a narcissist acknowledging their issue, Scott estimates that less than 1% of severe narcissists ever realize or admit their issues. To understand the dynamics within a family like the Adelsons, the narcissist, likely Donna, would have to admit she has issues. We've seen how controlling Donna was in her emails to her daughter Wendy before the crime. In the emails, Donna pushed her ideas for getting Dan Markel to agree to let his cherished sons move that 480 miles to South Florida to live closer to Grandma and Grandpa and Uncle Charlie. The Adelsons are no doubt an extreme case of a narcissist chipping away at his or her family members' moral fiber, all in the name of achieving what Donna and Wendy wanted, which was total control over the upbringing of Dan Markel's and Wendy Adelson's two young sons. They wanted to control their diet. They wanted to control which schools they went to. They wanted them near them and away from their father. Basically, it was like, thanks, Danny, for the kids. Now, goodbye, get out of my life, and let me do this the way I want to. I mean, we know that Wendy changed the boys' names a year after Danny's death to Adelson, basically trying to wipe out all memory of Dan Markel as being their father. Another family that, to me, seems to suffer from the same issues is that of the Wagner family. They're the quartet who ended up doing an 8 members of the Roden family in Pike County, Ohio. The matriarch of the Wagner family, Angela, wanted to gain custody of her young granddaughter from the girl's mother, Hannah Roden. Angela was as obsessive with controlling her children and her grandchildren as Donna Adelson seems to have been. So yes, the desire to gain full custody of kids and grandkids can drive entire families to commit dark, vicious crimes. Back to the Adelsons. Per Dr. Scott, narcissists come on a spectrum. Some are more hardcore than others. Donna Adelson pushed hard to get Dan Markel to allow his young sons to move from Tallahassee to South Florida. It would appear Donna would have stopped at nothing to get her way on this issue. She told Wendy to offer Danny $1 million to agree to this. By the way, Jibbers was Donna and Wendy's condescending nickname for Danny Markel. In one email to Wendy from May 3rd of 2013, roughly a year before Danny Markel's death, Donna wrote, quote, "The most important part of your divorce is relocation," end quote. Note that Donna used bold font on the word relocation. She also went on to say, "I sincerely hope your attorney understands that that is your non-negotiable." And non-negotiable was typed in bold, all caps. Note that Donna also told Wendy to let her attorney know, quote, "Your attorney needs to understand that your mother worked full-time in the family dental practice until September, when she felt she was needed by you for the well-being of the children to get them through a transitional time with people who love them and see them frequently and with whom they share great affection. Your father has made numerous trips by plane for weekends and changing patient schedules around so that he can continue to spend significant time with the children," end quote. In another email from June 25th of 2013, from Donna to Wendy, Donna wrote, "It's time for action. It's time to take control of your life and not let Jibbers think he just won anything by having you remain in Tallahassee, 8 hours away from the only family you have, and lose out on what will be a great job that will afford you and your children advantages that they will never otherwise be able to enjoy. Let's show this effer. I can't say that word on YouTube, but it rhymes with pucker and starts with F. So let me say that line again. Donna wrote, "Let's show this effer what will make him absolutely miserable." End quote. And then later in the same email, Donna wrote, "Jibbers hasn't the Adelson family yet." Donna goes on to tell Wendy to threaten to take her and Danny's sons to church. Note that Danny Markel was devoted to raising his sons in his Jewish faith. The Adelsons are also Jewish, but apparently did not practice their faith to the extent that Danny Markel did. What Donna is suggesting is just plain cruel. Donna then outlines a very detailed plan of action for Wendy. Things like take a photo of herself and the boys in front of a church in Tallahassee. Then use this photo, Wendy, for your Facebook status photo. Let Jibbers know the kids will be baptized in the Catholic Church. Register the boys for toddler classes at the church. We can show Jibbers that they are enrolled for the fall semester even if the boys don't go. Donna goes on in this email, trying to push Wendy to do everything possible to make Danny Markel so miserable that he'll gladly sign over full custody to Wendy. This poor man just wanted to love his kids and be a constant presence in their lives, and Donna basically wanted to revoke all his rights as a father. Donna was essentially trying her darndest to control Wendy, and she felt that Danny was trying to do the same thing to Wendy, control her. In some ways, not many, you have to feel a little sorry for Wendy Adelson being played so hard by her mother, and then also maybe facing a strong opponent in her ex-husband, who by all accounts was brilliant and was never going to agree to let his sons move without him to South Florida. So Dr. Siobhan Scott says that when a narcissist comes in for therapy, they usually come in complaining that people aren't treating them the way they should be. They are constantly angry, wounded, and upset. The focus is always on what people are not giving them. Scott said that to have a narcissistic parent is an insidious thing. So again, in some ways, both Charlie Adelson and his sister Wendy are victims of their allegedly narcissistic mother. Scott says the first thing to do is to find a way to manage that parent and cope with them. That is, if you realize your parent is a narcissist. Often the adult children learn that their parent will try to blame them for things, and the child needs to learn how to use boundaries, such as no contact, shorter visits, or setting limits, or all of the above. And then what will happen is the narcissistic parent will get angry because he or she doesn't like limits or when other people set boundaries for them. We know Danny Markel had petitioned the court to have a third party sit in on his kids' visits with Donna and Harvey because Danny knew Donna was disparaging him to his young sons. That petition is likely part of what allegedly drove Donna and Charlie to come up with the murder for hire plot. Sadly, per Scott, a lot of kids of narcissistic parents never deal with the problem. They find the idea of setting boundaries with that parent too anxiety-riddled, so they ignore the controlling behaviors. According to Scott, true narcissists will never admit their behavior, and they will have their kids continually jumping through hoops in an attempt to gain approval, all to no avail. A hardcore narcissist will never admit to any of this and will never give the kids the approval that they're seeking. There's simply no pleasing the narcissistic parent. So Charlie Adelson, who now will spend the rest of his life in prison, likely jumped through the hoop of setting up the crime against Danny Markel not necessarily because he wanted Markel dead, but rather because he was desperate to appease Donna and get her approval. In the end, Charlie literally sacrificed his life to please dear old unpleasable mom, Donna, and to get her what she wanted, which was those grandbabies, down in South Florida full-time without any influence or input from gibbers. And Donna, not wanting to end up like Charlie, selfishly decided to try to flee to Vietnam. Donna saw the writing on the wall and was trying to avoid being arrested and charged for her alleged role in Danny Markel's death. Donna was like, well, too bad for you, Charlie. I'm out of here. Luckily, the law was listening to Donna's calls with Charlie and caught wind of her plan to escape. Sadly, narcissism tends to play out intergenerationally, with narcissistic parents producing either narcissists or codependent children. And according to an article I found on ecounseling.com, studies have found that sons raised by narcissistic mothers are at a higher risk than daughters of becoming a narcissist. So it sounds like Charlie never really had a hope of avoiding this. He could have avoided the crime, but maybe not this attachment to his mother and this extreme desire to get her approval. So yes, I believe Charlie Adelson may be a narcissist too. And that's because in his jailhouse calls with his parents after his conviction, Charlie boasts of his superb performance while testifying. He makes it clear that he believes his intellect is superior to that of the Tallahassee people and the jurors. Charlie toots his own horn, but what he fails to do is declare his innocence and shout out, "I'm innocent, Mom. How could this happen?" Charlie also cries over the fact that he will not be able to play sports with his son, Roman. He seems to feel entitled to this, despite his role in Markel's death. Charlie denied Danny Markel more than that. At least Charlie can still breathe the air, speak to his son on the phone, have visits with him, watch him grow up. Danny Markel lost his life, and his two young sons lost their father. I believe the Adelsons should serve as a cautionary tale as to what can happen when a hardcore narcissist goes undetected or detected but ignored. In my opinion, Donna Adelson drove the hate train that led to Danny Markel's cruel and horrific death. If only someone had recognized what a dangerous force Donna Adelson was within the family. Until the next time on Bed Crime Stories, hey, smash that like button, and I'll see you next time.